Thousands of people are descending upon the Peruvian capital for this important event, which will see 21 member economies from across the Asia-Pacific region come together. And these economies represent more than 60% of global GDP and more than $50 trillion in total. And it's an event which will bring together the public and the private sectors. Today, Monday, we are seeing things kicking off slowly as the APEC leaders themselves from the organisation meet and talk delegations through exactly what we're going to be expecting this week. But then there are going to be three main events which we'll see this week. There's going to be the ministers' meeting, which is going to see these economies, top officials come together to seek further cooperation. How can this enormous trade region around the world's largest ocean increase its economic collaboration as well as development? How do we get Chinese EV and green energy technology into Latin America, for example? These are all topics which are going to be on the agenda at APEC. As you rightly mentioned, more than 400 Chinese private enterprises are going to be here, and that's where the main event for them is going to be the CEO Summit, which is going to see in total more than 1,200 private enterprises from across the Pacific region. You're going to have from New Zealand, Australia, China, Japan, the United States, Mexico, Chile and Peru, all private enterprises meeting here to look at how can trade grow in this region, how can we work together to collaborate more closely. And then the event this week will be culminating in the leaders' meeting. So as you rightly mentioned, President Xi Jinping will be here, US President Joe Biden will be here, as well as other leaders from these 21 economies to cap off what is going to be a very important and hopefully very productive week for an enormously large economic area with great potential for the future.
Alistair, what will China be hoping to get out of this meeting?
Well, of course, President Xi Jinping will be here at APEC, and China, of course, it's APEC is the acronym for the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation. So that's exactly what China wants. China wants greater trade within this region, greater economic cooperation. And one of the stated goals, indeed, of APEC since its inception in the late 1980s and the early 1990s has been the free trade around the Pacific. What is currently the closest thing that we have in this region at the moment is the CPTPP, the Comprehensive and Progressive Trans-Pacific Partnership. Well, that's something which links a number of countries. Australia and Mexico, for example, are part of this free trade agreement. But China wants to see further free trade throughout this region because that's what is going to ultimately bring the economic and development benefits to this region. And one of the main things which it's certainly no coincidence that APEC is happening in Peru this year, because China's Belt and Road is about to inaugurate an enormous piece of infrastructure. This Thursday, we will see the Chancay port, a $3.5 billion smart port project, which is being built on Peru's Pacific by China's Belt and Road Initiative. And it's going to be inaugurated by President Xi Jinping this Thursday. And it's going to be a piece of infrastructure which is going to completely alter the face of trade within the South American continent. It's a smart port with the ability, the first of its kind in South America, to be able to receive mega freighters, 18,000 container boats which are going to be coming into South America and changing the face of trade within this entire continent. So a lot to see this week, and China with a lot to say.